welcome back to the We Age Graceful podcast. How are you guys doing today? Y'all, it's been raining here all weekend, but we love the rain and we love the calmness. So let's just talk about it. Let's just talk about it. We're gonna get right in. I'm not gonna hold you. We're talking about menopause. We're gonna keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Y'all, I'm not there. I'm not full blown menopause, but I am in perimenopause. I do know that for sure. Um, but it's nothing to run home about. It's nothing like to be scared or anything. But it's just knowing where you are in your journey of transition. It's amazing. For those of you who may not know, I recently just had a surgery. I had a hysterectomy, so I do have my ovaries. So I'm not in full blown menopause. I'm still just going through it. I probably won't hit full menopause and probably till maybe I guess my 50s, maybe somewhere in there, who knows, early 50s, late 50s. I don't know. We're all different, you know what I mean? So we can't really pinpoint that. But we're going to get into all of that as we go. But before we get into the topic of today, I want to tell you guys about my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. It's called I Am Kelly B. It's beauty and lifestyle, simple makeup, women over 40, all the things. I recently just started two new series on the channel. I do videos about once a week, sometimes twice. If I'm feeling a little sassy, but right now we're just doing once a week. But I have one series. It's called Life in Your 40s. It's just vlogging. And the reason why I did it is because, when you go on YouTube, YouTube is a fun place for me. I love the whole content creation thing. And when you're just trying to look for certain things and you might look for a day in life or something like that, and you'll see a woman in her 20s. Not that you can't relate because we've all been there before, but as times have changed. But it's like, you know what? I want to talk about what's going on right now. My life is not extravagant or anything like that, but it's still you want to relate to other women who is within your age range. So I created that particular series, and then my next series is called Aging Graceful Diaries. That one's more like getting into your routines, living your soft life as a woman over 40. You don't even have to be 40. You could be 30, you could be 50, it's over 40, so 50, 60, however. You know, just living your life, living it on your terms, get into those good routines. And routines that don't work, hey, guess what? We're going to start them all over again. We're going to pick a new one. We ain't even going to do no routine. We're just going to get up and start our day. However we choose to do it. But it's more so living a calm life and a soft life. And that means something different to each woman. Some women may feel like a soft life is being kept. Somebody may feel like a soft life is just having luxury. Soft life, this might mean living the life that you choose, but on your terms. You know what I mean? It can mean so many different things. We're just pretty much saying, however you choose to live your life, it's okay and it's soft for you and you're aging graceful. Okay? We don't want to be looking hard out here. We want to be looking nice and soft. So, you gotta make sure we pull it together. But let's get into it. Menopause. Menopause. Just briefly, menopause is like that transition from perimenopause, and then once you've been in menopause for a while, then you go into postmenopause. Menopause is just so they say because I'm just talking from my experience, my knowledge. I'm not trying to be a doctor. I'm not trying to be someone who's been studying this for years. I'm just speaking from how my body is changing, how I've seen other women, people I may have talked to. This is part is having candid conversation. And you can chime in on the conversation as well. So we can kind of like just, shoot the breeze and kick it back and forth. Is no right or no wrong. Because sometimes people can go in menopause early, some people go late. We're all different, but there is an age range. But what is, menopause? Menopause is pretty much like the transition into, as they say, where your childbearing years are over. You know, you're done. And I'm okay with that. A lot of people feel like when I think men feel like when they say, oh, you can't have kids anymore, you're done. We can keep having kids. And they forget that they little bullets are shooting out old and they can have This is so going left. You ever seen them babies that come out that be looking like uncles already? That be them old men having them babies. Them uncle. Let me stop. Let me stop. Let's focus, Kelly. Let's focus. We don't want to be one of those that we just be talking crazy nonsense. But menopause is pretty much the transition on when you're not having a menstrual anymore. You've done with the childbearing years, and your body is naturally, you know, just shutting down that piece, for lack of better words, because I've had a hysterectomy, so my shutdown has is gone. It's gone. It's gone. So that's menopause. Menopause is just, your body is changing. You're going into another phase of life, and there's different stages of it. And to understand the different phases of it, you have perimenopause, you have menopause, and you have postmenopause, as I mentioned before. And the average age of perimenopause, menopause, and all that can range from mid 40s to say mid 50s. That's a wide gap. It can range, but it all depends on family history, what your mother may have went through, what your grandmother went through, or just maybe you, because every generation's things do change. And I just mentioned here, like I'm going ahead of my notes here. So it says factors that can influence the time and genetics, health conditions, and so forth and so on. And I do really feel like my fibroids really pushed me there because, y'all, the pain. And I know, oh my God, I'm just so happy I got a hysterectomy, y'all. I can talk about hysterectomy all day long, but we're talking about menopause right now. If any of you are in menopause, please share so other women can know. I know right now I'm in perimenopause. I'm experiencing some of these symptoms that I'm getting ready to share with you, and we're going to just go over them. So, the common symptoms that they say, you know, um, are for menopause, the physical symptoms, hot flashes. I have them. Night sweats. I definitely have those. What I was experiencing, so I had a twofold situation, was the irregular menstruals, irregular periods, and just eventful periods. Just not knowing when they're coming. So that's what I was experiencing as well. Like I would go 2 months, 3 months without having one, and me not knowing if the fibroids or if it's perimenopause. I'm back and forth here. So I had a twofold situation, and then I did not have any vaginal dryness or discomfort because I was always had a period. So I was to the point where it was like I would have so much discomfort because just being like that, blood down there for so long. We having candid conversation, y'all. Okay, just for having blood down there for so long, that can make you feel raw. It can make you feel irritable. That's just sleep disruption, insomnia. I experience that. I think I was mentioning in a previous video about perimenopause, like your your body is tired, but you just can't shut it down. It's like you feel like you missed your mark on where you should have had to say, let me go to sleep. Because you knew when you should have laid down, but you didn't lay down, and now you're up. I remember one day at work, I did not sleep all night. I could not just shut it. And I wasn't like on social media, anything on my phone or anything like that to like keep me up. I just could not fall asleep. And I was at work so tired, but even at work, I was still up. I went in my car, and I would just say I would go in my car. It was many times this happened to me. I would go in my car and just try to catch a nap, but my body would not shut down. I mean, now some emotional symptoms, emotional, psychological, however you want to put them, mood swings. I was moody because I was bleeding so much. So, but again, I'm not there yet in menopause, but the perimenopause, that the bleeding with the, ugh, boy, y'all. Ugh. So now let's move into the emotional part, the emotional and psychological symptoms, mood swings, irritability. Now, having PMS, you can have mood swings, all the different things. So it's not just for menopause, but if you feel it's getting really, really in heightened and you feel like you're acting out of your norm, this is not a normal PMS symptom, this is not something else, that may be a sign of, you're in menopause and you're within the range. If you experience heightened mood swings, let us know down below so we can definitely, see what's the next step. Anxiety and depression. Now, that's rough. I can definitely see that happening because you're like your body is just changing. You're getting older. All the different things. Memory loss. My notes app in my phone is my second brain. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I make sure it is synced to all my devices. So whatever I have, I can get back to it. Now, do I try to exercise my brain because you don't want to lose your memory or nothing like that, go through anything, and you have to look to see if, like, dementia, all that stuff is in your family line. But we ain't going that far, Kelly. Stop it. Just memory loss and just concentration problems. And I do feel like once you get past that hump, all that stuff does come back. You have to just work that muscle. But going through menopause, again, I'm not there yet, but I can definitely see the struggle. I do have a cousin that's going through it right now, and the hot flashes that we were just out this past weekend. The hot flash that come is like the sweat bubbles. I don't experience that. I'm more so of a night sweater versus it being like out in public and things like that, and just getting those extreme hot flashes. I'm not there, but and I do also feel like me having this hysterectomy is kind of like helping me. I really do. I feel so good, y'all. I feel so good. If you have not heard that episode about me having a hysterectomy, in addition to just the pros and cons of it, go back and listen to it. Really, really good information. A nice thing for us to chime and talk about it together as women. Okay. So let's get into managing your symptoms, like lifestyle changes, medical treatments, alternative therapy, all the different things, when you're going through menopause, just in life and living healthy, and as you're getting older, you have to cut back certain things because as we older, we younger, we would eat what we want, but now as we get older, we got to be mindful of our diet, start some really good nutrition, kind of cut back on that saturated fat, them fats, all different things, because not only will it affect you in menopause, it can affect you in high blood pressure, cholesterol, the whole kit and caboodle, and we don't need none of that. So now when we know that we are in these different stages of, like, if it's peri, menopause, or post, work on our diet, exercise, stress management, in addition to, if we do have to get hormones, because sometimes you can have low estrogen if they get on a patch. It's a thing called HRT. It's a hormone replacement therapy. You can do patches. I think they have pills as well, but I really know more so about the patches. And I hear women all over, even if you had a total hysterectomy or a radical one where you got everything taken out, like you don't have your ovaries anymore, the patches work really well with keeping you at bay, where you don't have all those different mood swings and irritables and just snap you like a little chihuahua. You don't want that. Or you can go herbal, go natural. There's always so many different ways where you could go holistic. You can do natural supplements where you can kind of like feed in your body versus doing it the medical way. That'll hit you within like minutes. The herbal way might take about 30 days, 2 weeks, depending on, how your body absorbs and things like that. So, but I definitely, later on down the line, as we grow here on this podcast, I definitely want to talk to women who are in menopause, who are in perimenopause, who are in postmenopause, and how their lives are, the quality of life. So if you are a woman and you want to be on the podcast, if not, if you want to just be in the comments, because sometimes, that'd be a little intimidating, let your girl know, or just jump in the comments, jump down in, in the notes, and share. So let's get into some frequent asked questions about menopause. Can you still get pregnant during menopause? How long does the symptom last? You cannot. From my understanding, you can't get pregnant. But I have seen women become pregnant and come out with twins because, it's like they say you're dropping. I don't know. Again, I'm not speaking facts. We're just having candid conversation. Can you get pregnant during perimenopause? How long do the symptoms last? It all depends on your body. Can you get pregnant? Absolutely. I'm sure you can because I've heard that sometimes women, that's how they can have twins. Sometimes more eggs are dropping because you don't know, all the different things. You don't know, the ovulation, all the different things, there's so many different factors here. But to debunk some things in regards to menopause, is your life over? No, it's not. Is your life just beginning? Yes, it is. It's like the new wave. You don't got to deal with that menstrual. Good God. And there's so many other things too. Your body just changes, I'm sure. I'm not there yet. I keep saying it, but you know, I just having women conversation, I feel like there's so much information out there. Like I'm a real Pinterest gal, and I be on Pinterest reading so many different blog posts and stuff like that with women sharing their experience. Again, just normal women. We're not talking about doctors here. We're not talking about healthcare professionals or anybody that's doing statistics. We're just having conversation from what we experience and what we know. And of course, I know even about what I'm saying right now may be wrong, but it's just about opening up the door to have the actual conversation. But we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna keep this going on for too long. I just wanted to have some conversation about menopause just to kind of open it up. I'm definitely going to share more later on because I know eventually I'm going to be going through it, full blown. And, I'm going to share because I've known so many women who went through menopause, going through, and they, but again, I have to always understand everybody's experience and whatever they do is their business and it's their personal, um, it's just theirs and they don't have to share. But I just feel I have so many questions. I have so many that I want to know about women's body that I want to share mine so I can open a dialogue. And I'm here when it comes to the woman's reproductive system. So I would say thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And we're going to have more conversations around this. And let me know your thoughts and your opinions. And if it did strike something in you, let me know so we can talk more about it. Bye. See you in the next episode.